I'm Ethan Fernandez. I'm a junior here at Cornell, and I wrestle 149. I knew coming out of high school, said I wasn't really highly recruited. I only got, I think, maybe like 2 calls from D1 colleges. That kind of came from, like, not failures in high school, but I wasn't where I wanted to be. You know, my junior and senior year, I ended up taking 4th in the state. But I had close connections with some people from Cornell. I was really good friends with Chris Foca, and his dad was my youth wrestling coach. So he kind of put in a good word for me to Mike Gray, who was the assistant coach at the time when I was coming out of high school. So I knew I wanted to come to Cornell mainly for the academics. You know, being a backup last year, I knew I wanted to break into the lineup, and I knew I had the ability to break into the lineup because I was competing well with Vito in the room. I was competing well with, Vince in the room, both the 133 and the 41 starters. It's gonna be kind of like a open spot, right? There's a lot of guys competing there. And I didn't just want to start at the lineup. You know, my goals, my ambitions are to be an All-American and NCAA champ. So what gave me a lot of confidence was the first tournament we had at the beginning of the season, the Journeyman Classic, Collegiate Classic. I was put in one of the better pools in that tournament, and I ended up winning that tournament. So that gave me, a ton of confidence, especially because one of the guys who I was going to be competing for the spot was in that same bracket, and I beat guys that he beat. So that, that gave me a ton of confidence in my abilities. To be honest, I'm very self-critical in my wrestling. I have this one friend that always asks me after my matches, oh, how do you think you did? Do you think you did well? I always tell them, no, I don't think I did well, even though a lot of people might think I did well. And I think that it's important to recognize, that there's always room for improvement, and especially in anything you do, but especially in wrestling. And I know I'll continue to evolve, and my peak is, is yet to come, I think. I think I've always had that sort of respect just from the practice room, but especially now, I think my teammates kind of expect me to do well and expect me to perform. And those are the expectations I put on myself. And the thing that I say a lot to myself that I learned from Meyer Shapiro, he kind of told me this quote that helps him is, he told me pressure is privilege. And true for myself, I've recognized that it's a privilege to have that pressure, and not, people that aren't on the starting lineup, they don't have that pressure to win, that pressure to showcase your skills. So, I really treat that as a privilege that I have the pressure from my teammates, my coaches, friends, family. And I try to, use that to motivate me in my matches.